What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet, and I'm black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. So, every so often on this channel, I like to talk about things that are not so much doom and gloom, but just kind of giving some overviews of what my family life is like and what it's like to be a parent. And I saw some videos very recently that really, you know, filled me with a lot of pride and joy and made me really think about what it's like being the father of a little girl. And what I saw was some videos of, black fathers coming home from work and their daughters kind of running to the door, and the daughters would be like, little babies or toddlers or whatever, and they're running to the door. And as soon as the dad gets through the door, they're very excited to see him and they want to jump into his arms and stuff. So very heartwarming videos, and I like to see stuff like that. So once again, just to remind myself that the world is not all doom and gloom, and there are some very happy black families out there, and there are happy moments to be had with your family. And just seeing those videos, and it just makes me reminisce about my own experiences here with my own daughter, and thinking that there's something very special about the love between a father and his daughter. Not to say that a father and a son is any less love, but I have noticed that it's different. I don't have a son, but just from my experiences with being with my younger nephew and helping with him, I noticed like our relationship was a lot different as far as the love relationship. Like it was more like an idol type relationship. And even like the relationship that my nephew had with his father, I noticed that it's more idolization. You want to do well for your father and imitate what he does because he's the man in your life. And likewise, like I thought about myself growing up with my own father and my grandfather, just wanting to imitate them and understand what it is to be a man just by watching them. And I took a lot from both of them as far as like not even them verbalizing about what it means to be a man, but just watching what they do. And kids are always going to do that. So that that's kind of like the relationship like that a father and son has. But with a daughter, it's more seeing how a man is supposed to treat you, and seeing how a man is going to be involved with you. I think that's the big difference. And just the relationship that I have with my daughter, it's a blessing. I'll say that. Like I always am very happy every day and very thankful to God every day that we have this time and have this relationship of father and daughter, and that it's so far so good. It's been a great relationship. I'm sure there will be bumps in the road, especially when she becomes a tween or a teenager, but at this point everything's been a-okay. She's definitely a daddy's girl at this point. And I know what that feeling is like, coming home to your family. It's a amazing feeling, and any father or husband knows exactly what that feeling is like. The first time I ever really had that feeling, I remember like we didn't even have children yet, but my wife and I, we had been married for like a year and a half, and I remember it was like we had moved to Georgia and it was snowing outside, and I had just finished some project and I got my paycheck, put it in the bank, and I was coming home. And I came home and looked at my wife in the kitchen. She was cooking when I first got in there in our little apartment back then, before we ever had a house. And that was just an amazing feeling, like coming home to her at that point. It was snowing outside, and just that comforting feeling of being inside a warm apartment. Likewise, when I come home to my child and my wife, like if I've been away on a business trip, because I work from home, so it's a little bit different. I don't get that feeling every day. But, when I go on a business trip and come back after like 2 or 3 days, that amazing feeling of seeing your child. And when I remember I came back from one business trip, and before I even got through the door, she must have heard the car door slam or something like, and I could hear her inside yelling, "Daddy, Daddy!" So that was a great feeling. Likewise, when after I had my surgery to remove the tumor that I had, and I came back from the hospital, I was in the hospital for 5 days recovering. And I obviously have been talking to my daughter over Skype and on the phone, and she had kept telling me how much she missed me, and I told her I'd be home soon. And when I got home, she was very happy to see me, and that was just a great feeling of being able to give her a hug after being in the hospital for 5 days, right? So yeah, that is an amazing feeling to be with your family. And I remember my dad telling me when he, would come back from his tour of duty in the National Guard, like just how happy he was to see me, or when he came home from work, how happy he was to see me. So I know for a father how how amazing of a feeling that is, and the relationship that you have with your child, especially your daughter. You you want to showcase that, just how much love you have for them, and just spending time with them is a big deal for them. I've noticed that, and I've grown to understand that with my daughter, just spending time. Like sometimes she doesn't even want me to necessarily do anything. It's just me being there. Like, like this summer, she would ask me every once in a while to, maybe let's go watch cartoons together or play with toys, or like when she's playing outside in the backyard. Like I'll go out there anyway, but sometimes I'll be doing some work. But sometimes she wants me like right there near her to participate in whatever game she's playing, which is fine. And sometimes I'll stop what I'm doing, or just say, give me 5 minutes, let me finish this, and then I'll come over there and we'll play and do whatever. I notice that's a big deal to her. So things like that can be very important to a child, and being around your child and being with your child and giving that time, it it means so much to them, and then their psyche and their upbringing, and it brings joy to them. So I think a lot of people need to realize that, because there's so many people out there that will have children and still be very selfish and not realize that that child needs you. That these people are still thinking about themselves and just about what makes them happy. But when you have a child, you have to think about what makes your child happy, what's good for your child. And once again, just spending time is a big deal. And even when I think back about my own childhood, my dad just being there, or spending time, or looking at my artwork that I was drawing, or reading one of my homemade comic books, that stuff like that I remember, and I cherish those memories. I hope that I can, create those types of memories for my daughter. Like this over the summer, we worked on. She likes something called snap circuits. Like you can buy these little circuits and blocks, and you can like hook them up. And when you hook the circuits together, it makes a light come on somewhere else. So it's kind of like a little STEAM project, but she enjoys, little science things like that. So we got one of those sets and worked on that over the summer. Likewise, we, just would sit and play with toys, or, I obviously I still play games every once in a while. So sometimes we'll even play video games together. We had some time to play Mario Kart 8 back and forth, and she's gotten better than me already. So I feel like I'm trash at that game. She's amazing at it, and she loves to beat daddy in that game. Or we'll go outside and play with like water balloons or whatever. So like I said, any little time or whatever you can do to spend with your child is a good thing, and I think that's very important to be that type of father. It's also great. The great thing about being a father to a daughter is being able to provide that comfort and help when your child really needs it. Like, my daughter's at the age now where she's losing her baby teeth. So having incidents like that where like a tooth is about to come out and she might be in somewhat pain. We had an incident over the summer where she nicked one of those baby teeth and it was about to come out, and I could see it was loose. So like I took her into the bathroom. I told her to sit on my lap for a few minutes and just relax, stop the little tears from coming down. Tell her how much I loved her, and I would tell her stuff like she loves to hear. I tell her that you're daddy's favorite person in the world, and she said that makes me feel so much better when you say that. So I always tell her stuff like that, and just to calm her down. And then basically I told her just look up at the ceiling, open your mouth, and she did so, and I just went, grabbed it, and pulled the rest of the tooth out, because it was bothering her, obviously, so I wanted to get it out as fast as possible. And, she thanked me very much, and she said, that didn't hurt as much as I thought it would. I was like, yeah, Daddy knows how to do it. And nothing else, Daddy knows how to pull some teeth. But when you have a child, you might have to wind up doing stuff like that. I've pulled teeth, I've cleaned up all types of messes, whether it be vomit or poop or pee or, scrape knees, everything. I've done it all. And I know for the parents out there, you've probably all done the same thing. So, and I don't mind doing it because, once again, that's my child. I love her more than anything in this world. So doing stuff like that is just part of what it means to be a parent to me. It's part of my responsibility. So I thought before I had a child that I would be squeamish about certain things like that, but I've been surprising myself that I just dive right in when any incident like that happens. I'll just dive right in there and get it done. Like, even my wife has been surprised at how quickly I'll do something. Like, I remember my daughter had an incident where she threw up in the car, and my wife was surprised at how I didn't mind picking my daughter up, taking her to the bathroom, cleaning her up in the tub, and then going back outside and cleaning the car, cleaning the little baby car seat she had and everything. So it happens, and it's stuff that you just have to deal with as a parent. So, but yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. Just kind of give some little anecdotes, and also just talking about how much I appreciate being a father, how much I love being a father to a little girl, and being her the man in her life and her protector. I appreciate that a lot. That's a great privilege to have and a great responsibility, and I hope that I can do at least a half decent job at it over the years, and we'll see how things go once she becomes an adult. And to those girl dads out there, or dads who have daughters, I just want to say I salute you. I appreciate you. I know it's not always easy, but I'm sure you're all doing a great job at it as best that you can. So if you want to share any of your little stories, your little dad stories in the comments section, you can go do that. I'd love to hear it. And we can all talk about how great a feeling it is to be a father when you come home from work, or come home from a business trip or something like that, or just any situation where you haven't seen your family in some time, and how great it is to finally come there and have your children run up to you. That's an amazing feeling, and I hope everyone gets to have that at some point. Anyway, folks, this is Mad Black, and I'll be back with my foot on a devil's back. Peace.